It's been a while. So, among other things like saving the world and competing in the Olympics, graduating, I have been spending my time watching a little known anime made in the 1980s called Dragon Ball. It's about a 15-year-old kid with a tail that meets a girl who is looking for the 7 mythical balls that, when gathered, will grant one person one wish. Who am I kidding? You probably knew this already. See, I did not. I did not grow up watching Dragon Ball, but I did hear of its existence. That is because of its huge cultural influence that broke into the mainstream. So when I started watching anime, I heard about every spoiler imaginable. That through memes, references, and some straight up spoilers, from the Saiyan saga all the way up to the Tournament of Power. But to my surprise, I did not hear much spoilers from OG Dragon Ball. Most spoilers I got were from either Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball Super or one of the movies. So naturally, that fact made me pretty excited about watching the grandpa of all battle shonen. So as I was watching Dragon Ball, I noticed that the pacing was better than I thought it would be. For the way modern anime fans avoid long-running shows like The Plague in favor of watching shows like That Time I Got Reincarnated as World's Strongest Q-Tip, the pacing really wasn't that bad. That really hit home when I saw Goku do the Kamehameha wave within the first 5 episodes. I was expecting maybe a lengthy training arc for that to happen, but I think what Toriyama did was for the best, because maybe he was trying to set the tone by making Goku do the Kamehameha wave early. Maybe that was him being like, hey, this is not just a martial arts anime. As the series progressed, I started liking Goku's simplistic and childish nature a lot. At times it was a bit much, but it's also responsible for the funnier comedic moments, in my opinion. And as I got further and further into the show, I could see the tropes that inspired future generations. The World Martial Arts Tournament, for example, being the tournament arc that inspired tournament arcs. I mean, aside from maybe the OG Olympics, I guess. Also, from the very moment we got introduced to Master Roshi, I knew he walked so the goat could run. But one of my favorite parts of Dragon Ball is what I call the addiction point. I'm still working on the name. But when I watch a show for the first time, there's always that one thing that makes me look forward to seeing the next episode and keeps me watching. For example, I was rewatching Haikyuu with a friend of mine the other day, and he said to me that one of the main things that kept him watching the show was the super quick attack that Hinata and Kageyama have. The addiction point in Dragon Ball, in my opinion, was seeing Goku being underestimated by his opponents and then seeing the surprise on their faces when he does the impossible. Like when Goku learned the Kamehameha wave in the first go, or when he showed his overwhelming strength in the World Martial Arts tournaments. And also, it feels like we as an audience are following Goku's legend in the making. Him falling out the sky, being trained by Master Roshi, the legendary turtle hermit, then him collecting the Dragon Balls, him climbing the legendary Korin Tower and drinking the divine water. Then he proceeds to kill a world-renowned assassin, Mercenary Tao, and takes down the Red Ribbon Army at the age of 15 years old. Then he proceeds to pass all the trials in the north and drink the divine water, and is only the first person in history to do so and live. It's just so amazing to see his journey unfold, and also makes you curious on what challenges he has to face next. My favorite arc is probably the Red Ribbon Army saga. The amount Goku grew in that saga was insane to me. This saga had a lot of highlights, but the best moment was probably Goku meeting his match in the Mercenary Tao. The coldest Dragon Ball villain, don't at me. I mean, look at how he fast travels. This is insane. Like, who even thinks of this? He is so over the top and I love it. And I love the whole concept of Goku narrowly escaping death and then training 3 days, taking a sip of the divine water, mopping the floor with Mercenary Tao on the rematch. It was something special. Which is also the favorite fight in the series for me. Also, it was pretty cool to see Goku having the motivation to collect all the Dragon Balls after that fight. And I loved the fact that Goku was pulled up on the Red Ribbon Army's headquarters and decimated all their forces. And Goku's friends being very worried that Goku might be in danger, not knowing that he's significantly grown in power. After the fact, revealing that he cleared the army at like, what was it, 15 years old? Like, insane. Speaking of Team Goku, currently my favorite characters are a little different, but when I was watching OG Dragon Ball, my favorite character was probably still Goku, and then like second Bulma. And then probably third, Krillin, and then Launch, because I really like that gag when she like does crowd control at the World Martial Arts Tournament and like starts shooting in the air with her guns. I also like Piccolo, but like at the point of OG Dragon Ball, I didn't like him as much because he just did not have the screen time. Also, this might be random, but I'm convinced that the Dragon Ball dub might be the best one in existence. Maybe it's because I watched too much SSJ9K, but hearing the dialogue is just so funny sometimes. But when they talk smack to each other is one of my favorite things about it. I remember exactly when they started talking like that to each other. It was when Tien was introduced. Tien changed all of Dragon Ball dialogue for the rest of the series. Yamcha would like hit Tien, and Tien would be screaming, and then Yamcha would go, "Sorry, I don't speak pain." And then Tien would hit Yamcha and would be like, "For someone who doesn't speak pain, you sure seem fluent." I can't do it justice. You just have to watch the dub again or something. But like, it was just so funny. I think that moment really inspired Toriyama to make like more of those disrespectful moments against opponents, or like the insane smack talk before or after fights. Usually before, and usually the person talking smack like not as strong as like they claim they are, or like they end up getting humbled. But I think it started at when Tien got introduced. Some of the stuff I didn't like was how some fights really dragged on longer than they should have. Actually, in every arc in OG Dragon Ball, you have a few fights that are like, okay, it could have ended a bit sooner. Also, I could be wrong, but I had a sense that the hand-to-hand combat kind of took a backseat, or at least regressed a little after some point in the series. Like, maybe it's just me, but I felt like when Krillin and Goku were fighting, it was like way better than like, for example, with at the end of the series when they started throwing hands then. Because usually it was then Ki Blast and then like some special moves here, some solar flares here and there. There was a little more ki usage, I would say. Another thing is characters can be really silly, a little too silly for my taking. Also about like their powers, and then they never elaborate on how they work. Or yeah, I also kind of wish Ki was explained a bit better. And there's a few other things here and there, but I am less critical of Dragon Ball because it's the first real battle shonen, and everyone else could build on what Dragon Ball started. So they already had a blueprint. So it's a bit unfair to be like, well, the power system is not exactly Nen. Like it just feels a bit bit weird to do that now. At this point in the show at least. In conclusion, I did not expect to like Dragon Ball this much, especially since some of the bad rep I heard from it online. But this show really kept me engaged for the majority of the time, and I really loved how they kept upping the stakes. I would definitely recommend this to somebody who's able to have a committed relationship with a long-running shonen, because I'm not sure how the average modern anime fan would handle the kind of low-stakes, episodic style Dragon Ball has at the beginning. I would give this 6.5 Dragon Balls out of 7. That was it for today's video. Sigh out. Yeah, it was... This is the longest time I haven't uploaded. But I am working on another video and probably weekly uploads from now on. So stay tuned for that. One more thing. So I have been exposed to much more Dragon Ball content lately because I finished Dragon Ball, like all of it, like Super, Z. And I've been getting a lot more videos of this guy lately, go through his dojo. And this video he's talking about like future Gohan or whatever. But look at this comment, bro. What if future Gohan unlocked? What? This is crazy, yo. Bro, shout out to this dude. Follow this dude, yo.